Okay, we're here with head softball coach Shelly Sarchett talking about Jacks heading into their senior weekend, this upcoming weekend at home against Cal State Monterey Bay, coming off of a weekend where they traveled down and faced Cal State San Bernardino. Coach, first off, just kind of give us your initial thoughts coming off this weekend. A lot of really close matchups, but unfortunately didn't come out on top for a lot of them.
My real thoughts I can't say on TV or radio, but no, it's really hard for me to be disappointed in this group of young ladies because they put in so much work. To say this weekend was a disappointment, yeah, that's, we came in here kind of riding high after the Chico series, and unfortunately we had many opportunities to go ahead of San Bernardino, and we just didn't take advantage of those. And that's the name of the game when you want to score runs. They were able to keep us off the board in games, or almost off the board in games 1, 3, and 4. And we're just gonna have to scratch that and move on and understand that this weekend's the next another weekend that we have to go out there and finish strong.
Coach, we just talked, and I was mentioning to you that Monterey hasn't won a series in the month of April, despite whatever teams they played, not being like top teams, middle of the pack teams. And I just want to get your thoughts. Does that give you any confidence going into the final weekend of the season? I know that's going to be, regardless, a tough series, but they aren't really playing well right now. They're riding a 3-game losing streak. They haven't won a series in a while. Does that play in any part?
I'd like to think that gives us confidence, but I also understand that they're still fighting for position in the CC2A. Or CC2A tournament, so they're not going to go down easy. This is a rivalry weekend. This is senior weekend. They're only one game out of CC2A. We're 3 to 4 games out of CC2A. So I would like to think that information helps us, but I also understand there's a lot of stake this weekend, and we just, a lot of emotions are going to be riding high, and we can't let stats like that dictate how we're going to play. We got to go out there and play like the number 1 team in the nation, and we got tons to fight for.
Right, and then this past weekend, just want to touch on Alyssa Smokey's performance. She hit 500, 12 for 24 if you include the previous stats with Chico from earlier in the week. Touch on kind of her offensive performance despite, 3 out of 4 games scoring 1 run or less in 3 out of the 4 games. So,
Smokey's been a great addition to our lineup. To our pitching circle, to our lineup. And it's been a pleasure watching her come on even stronger as of late and be a force in that lineup. So much that sometimes they're not even pitching to her. She's got a lot of walks on the season, considering being a new person. But it also bodes well for the fact that you have to pitch to her because you got Izzy Starr coming behind her. And you got Caitlin Giver in front of her that are doing the job, so it helps to have that strong 3-4-5 in order to protect Smokey. But it's been a pleasure seeing her come on as of late and being a force to be reckoned with in the lineup.
Right, and then just go ahead and touch on the 4 seniors that you're going to be honoring this weekend: Michaela Harris, Anna Brandes, Karen Didio, and Morgan Brandt. What they've brought to the program and over the past however many years.
It's hard to say what these kids, really in a nutshell, what these kids have brought. And they've been through hell and back when it comes through, 2 lost seasons, COVID, battling online schoolwork, online meetings. They've helped us, even though we haven't been successful in the standings, they've really helped build a foundation for this program for the future, or rebuild that foundation. And it's really going to suck to see these 4 leave because they really epitomize what the green and gold stands for, and have left their mark on this program. Even if it doesn't have to be statistic wise, they've left their mark on this program as leaders, as community members, as student athletes, and it's going to be bittersweet. But I'm happy with. I'm proud of what these young ladies have done in the last 5-6 years that they've all been here.
And then just one more final question. I know right now we sit in 8th in the CC2A standings, but 5 to 8 really is kind of a toss-up. I know the top 4 teams have clinched. What is the atmosphere like with the team and the coaching staff and the players at practice right now with you're still actually in the picture with SF State being in 6th, going to take on Sam Byrne, who we just played. Really good second place team. And then Chico traveling down to East Bay, who is proven they're a scrappy team and can steal games. So I know you are playing Monterey. It's the final weekend. It is a rivalry weekend, but really you're still in it. What is the atmosphere like in practice?
We're trying to keep it loose and not stress too much. You know, we start stressed, we start pushing or pressing in places we shouldn't be pressing, and trying to keep it loose and fun and understanding is a lot of stake, but not allowing that to get us mentally all frazzled. And, you know, we talk about every weekend that we're still in this, and we are. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but we are still in this. And we were hoping to not have to leave it in other people's hands so much, but that's where we are now, and we're just going to have to go out there, play Monterey tough, and hope to take as many as we can, and we'll go from there. But if we finish off the season strong, these ladies can't hold their head down low, because this CC2A is rough. The region is rough, and they have given everything they have in order to show up, compete at a high level every weekend, in and out, or and we just got to continue to play loose and free, and just allow things to happen for ourselves.
Coach, to that same point, I guess I would just say, about competing for a postseason spot. I mean, do you feel like the conversation and maybe the approach for your team is just the attitude of you have to win all 4 games? Because I would just wonder, do you kind of really maybe hone that in, or do you try and keep it loose? How do you kind of balance that, maybe that understanding of maybe what the stakes are and wanting to have each game maybe emphasize that importance with also keeping the team loose?
I think we just talk about, hey, we're still in this. They know they know what at stake. They look at the standings. It's no secret.
Mm-hmm.
But just going in there with the confidence that we know how to do things. We can, if we put things there, we can execute. We can pitch. We can hit. We can run the bases. And if we do all those things, good things will happen. But not to stress and go, hey, this has to happen. Because I think as a former athlete myself, the more pressure I put on myself on that mentally, I didn't perform at my best. But also understanding that there is pressure on them and they have to step up in those pressure moments. So it's kind of a balance in between the two. But this is a new position that we've been in the last couple of years, is fighting for a postseason spot. And I think the girls are taking about it as good as they can with a nice relaxed, hey, this is if we do what we do, we'll be just fine kind of attitude.
And going back to last week, I mean, I just think it obviously is kind of just a strange sort of, obviously, like the first game is 8-0 with maybe some I don't want to say predictable, but the lack of offense was almost consistent, for lack of a better term. Obviously, you bounced back with just a total outburst of runs. I think matched your season high for runs, 3 homers. And then, I guess I'm just wondering, why do you think that obviously within that hits can be contagious, but why do you think it wasn't, didn't carry over into the next games, particularly when I do think you got more hits in those games? Why do you feel like it didn't result in ultimately getting people past home?
I don't want to speculate, but I don't think our energy level was there game 2 or day 2. And we're putting a lot on these kids. Playing Friday, they played last Thursday, Friday. They played Monday, Tuesday. They played Friday, Saturday. They're traveling a lot. I'd like to think that the weather wasn't an issue, but we're playing in 80-degree weather when we've been sitting all year at in the 50s. 40s, if not, all those things kind of play a factor, but the truth is like the energy level just wasn't there. And I can't teach energy, I can't teach attitude. I can't teach effort. That has to come from themselves. And this is where they have to find that turning point in themselves to find that grit and don't, control the controllables and don't allow the uncontrollables to be a factor. And I think that's I think that was the difference in day 2, especially, was allowing those uncontrollables to be a factor.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, coming back to Monterey Bay, I mean, Drew has alluded to the fact that that's a pretty prime opportunity. I mean, it does feel like they've struggled a bit recently. There may be an opportunity to take advantage. But in terms of, your evaluation of them, maybe as a team, I mean, what do you think? Obviously, your pitching actually did do pretty well on day 2, if not even game 2 of day 1. But do you feel like it's something where your offense really has to turn the corner, or is it maybe more incremental? Do you feel like for Monterey Bay, just keeping up that pitching and defense? What do you think you have to leverage to get the wins?
Monterey's going to come. I mean, Gaspar's a pretty strong pitcher. I mean, she's one of the top in the league, and so we're going to have to get past her to win ball games. And like I said, they are still competing for a spot, so they're going to come at us with everything they have. We've been inconsistent, and a lot of that has to be with our youth, but I think it's going to, for this weekend, in order to get by this weekend, we have to give them a constant attack from both ends. Our pitching's got to be on. Our hitters have to be on. We have to give that constant pressure on to Monterey all weekend long, and not allow any space, not allow errors, not allow mistakes, mental and physical. We've got to go out there and pretty much put everything on the line this weekend in order to finish strong and hopefully have a shot at the CC2A tournament.
Got it. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah. Okay. Toots boots.